Hunter, you got to use it. So the website is the Sales Hunter. I've been doing this about 16 years. 16 years ago, I left corporate America. Okay, see, I'm a Yankee. And I travel about 230, 240 days a year globally, primarily now just really speaking at keynote conferences around the world on sales and sales leadership.
Hi, I'm Mike Shearer, the CEO of a company called Frontline Selling. We're headquartered in the way to engage the B2B buyer. So it's been a great journey, and I don't nearly travel 250 days a year, but I do speak at some conferences. We're looking forward to chatting with folks here.
Hi guys, I'm Phil Jones. I spend the bulk of my time working with independent business owners, helping them do just one of three things. So one is get more customers, two is get them to come back more often, and three is get them to spend more money when they shop. And outside of that, I like to think I kind of help people with sometimes knowing exactly what to say, when to say, and how to make it count.
Thanks very much. I'm Bob Etherington. I've been in selling now for 45 years. I keep retiring and going back as it gets boring. The worst thing about retirement is there are no weekends. I've been selling everything from copying machines up and down the Old Kent Road, right through to financial services. I lived 6.5 years in New York City selling and teaching people to sell. And I came back here, and then I've got more business over there now. So I think it's just the accent more than anything else.
Comes this way, Bob, okay? So, I've got 17 questions in my head that I'm going to ask these guys, and hopefully you get some out. But it's not about my questions. Have you got something that you'd like to get out of these guys right here that might help you with the problem you've got right now? Okay, so you think of the one? Okay. Davis, I'm glad you made it, by the way. We didn't start without you, so terrific. Thanks for coming. I'm going to ask this question, fellas, and you don't need to answer every one. Keep your answers as short as you can. Great salespeople, are they born or made?
They are born. I think you've got to have the right attitude. If you haven't got the attitude, no matter how much skill or technique I give you, you're not going to succeed.
Questions utter nonsense. Ever met a 3-year-old who doesn't get what they want? Everybody was born with the ability to be able to ask for things, and typically they got those things just by asking them. Parents taught salesmanship out of children by telling them things like it was rude to ask. Well, it's kind of okay, providing you know how to do it.
I believe salespeople are born, but a lot of them forget how to sell once they get older, because they forget to ask the right questions and just develop genuine understanding of where the other side is trying to go.
I believe they're made because it's the attitude and the environment. Or it's the environment that winds up shaping your attitude. I did not want to get into sales. I got 3 speeding tickets in the course of 6 months. I couldn't afford car insurance. So I wound up in sales.
Still, if you've got a question, I've got plenty more, but if you've got something you want to ask these guys, you can see we've got a panel that is diverse in their approaches and their answers, and they're not scared to say what they think. Here's the next question. If you can sell one thing, can you sell anything?
Yes, because the first thing you got to sell is yourself. If you can't sell yourself, you can't sell anything. Sell yourself, you can sell anything. Because it's all about helping people. You're helping people, it's not what you're selling.
Yes, you can, as long as you believe in what you're saying.
You can, as long as you understand the most important thing. And the most important thing is that it has nothing to do with you. And if you're looking to sell anything, you must get your head around the fact that you're in the problem-solving business. And what we are as salespeople, and what we must understand that we are as salespeople, is that we are no more than decision catalysts. We are professional mind maker-uppers. Our job is to help people through the decision-making process. And providing you get the fact that your job is to fix other people's problems, and you can be intelligent enough to understand that problem and articulate it on their behalf, the product becomes irrelevant.
I agree with everything that's been said so far. It's you can sell anything to anybody, because it is about 80% of the reason we make decisions to buy anything is to solve a problem. You've got to get that fixed. It's surprising how many people still sell their stuff rather than what it would do for them.
On that microphone, Bob, I'll just show this one. What is the biggest mistake you see people make when they're selling?
Pitching too much. You're not in the business of communicating value anymore, it's creating value. We haven't been in that since the internet came along. Everybody knows the intrinsic value of the product, ourselves, even our companies. That's not it. You've got to be able to create value in the customer's mind, and most people still pitch. They can't wait to get out the brochure, give the presentation before they've even worked out what it is the customer might want to buy.
I think I'll just build on that same point there. It's people think the idea of selling is having things like the gift of the gab and knowing what they can do with word choices, etc. And really, the majority of people who would call themselves a salesperson are probably a sales prevention officer, the kind of people that stand in the way of the success of what things could be. And getting this piece right comes back to what we said a second ago, it's about listening. And I was working with a group of people just yesterday and said, I've got these people that are interested in the thing that they were selling. And they said to me, well, what do I say to them that puts them into a situation that they're definitely going to buy my thing? I said, why don't you just start with the question, what is it that's intrigued you about wanting to do business with us? And that question will probably mean the other person will do all of your job for you. And those kind of situations happen so often. Quite often the customer will be the best salesperson in the arrangement. Let them do the job and don't stand in their way, and you might get the outcome you're looking for, not only more often, but quicker.
The biggest problem that salespeople have is they fail to understand. They think people make decisions logically and rationally. They think it's all sequential. If I show them A plus B plus C, then they would have to actually buy it. If that were true, we'd all have new windows in our house, right? Because they're all energy saving, but we don't, right? The fact of the matter is that no matter what decision you're making, whether it's buying a pack of chewing gum at the supermarket checkout, or buying an automobile, or whatever it is, or $1 million solution, people make decisions emotionally, and they justify it with logical facts.
Don't lead with features, lead with questions. Your objective is to uncover needs and outcomes. I say focus on outcomes. How are you going to help that person, B2B or B2C, achieve something that they did not think was possible?
This is great. Isn't this amazing? These are golden nuggets right here. I'm learning loads. I wish I was out there watching this. So, next question. As a business owner, can you be successful in business without selling or without being good at selling?
No, because we're all selling. Like Phil said, the 3-year-old gets everything they want because what are they doing? They're selling. We're always selling. You may not call it selling, but you know what? You're helping uncover needs and create outcomes.
Again, as a business owner, you have to be good at selling. I have a small business. We have about 75 folks in our company. I happen to be a sales guy, but if I weren't a sales guy, I would need to, at the very least, sell the vision of the company and where we're going. And if you look at all the great leaders around, you wouldn't necessarily say that they're great salespeople, but they are, because they get people to believe in a vision and then follow that vision and follow that.
You cannot succeed at anything without influence. The ability to move people in one direction or the other, and whether that's leadership, influence, movement, motivation, sales, it's all the same thing. It's about getting people to make a change and do things they wouldn't have done all by themselves. So can you succeed without the ability to be able to sell? Yes, providing you do a good enough job selling to somebody that they can sell on your behalf. Which is selling. And you're all doing, you're going to do it tonight when you go home, you're going to do it at the weekend when you try and convince somebody to do something that you wanted them to do, when you try and get your other half to do the thing you want them to do at the weekend, or why you can't do the thing that they're asking you to do. It's going to happen one way or another. Master the skill and you never worry about how you get paid again.
Selling is the #1 activity, a common activity through every commercial enterprise, whether you're a dentist, a software designer, a cleaning company. You have to be able to sell. Without sales, you have no business. Without business, you have no customers. Without customers, you haven't got business. That's the end of that. It comes before everything. You don't need nice offices, nice anything. Just can you sell your product? Make it go at that first of all, then you'll pretty quickly know whether you've got a business or not. Only thing that says you've got a business is do you have any customers?
Thanks, guys, and we appreciate you these short answers because we can get loads of questions in. You've got a question? Here we go.
to ask, what would the panel recommend in terms of business owners that are potentially looking to take on sales staff? What qualities should a business owner look for in a sales representative?
Great question. And quality, you've got to have the right attitude. I can teach people to sell, but they haven't got the attitude, they're not hungry to do it, nobody's going to buy anything from them. Somebody said earlier, it's about the emotional sale. And I used to tell us at Xerox 45 years ago, the customer actually makes up his mind whether he's going to buy from you in the 15 seconds it takes you to walk from the door to the car to his office. That's it.
I could say the same thing here as well, or I could try and help a little bit more if you're thinking about small business. And if you're thinking about small business, recruiting somebody for the first time is a big step, or recruiting 1 or 2 people into your sales organisation is a big step. Because really, they pick your pocket for a little while, right? This is coming out of your bread, your table, kids' inheritance, holiday fund. Do I redecorate? Do I do the conservatory? Or do I give this guy a chance? Big deal. So you've got to think very much about attitude, but you also need to think, is this person disciplined enough to be able to do the things you need them to do on an ongoing basis without your involvement? So do they bring some ready-made ability to be able to generate some income from day one? You've got to get them to pay for themselves within 12 weeks, because if you can't, you're going to go backwards real quick. That means, what do they bring to the table already with existing contacts, who they know, some ability to be able to run at things fast within your industry. Get some of those things right, add it to the attitude and the ability, and know they're going to stick to task. The other thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to tell them what to do. So that means turn up, show up at this time, do this number of calls a day, go to this region on that day, this region on this day, this region on this day, and when you pick up the phone, say this, and when they say that, you say this, just to give them the confidence and the structure to be able to get started. Then you'll be able to tap into some of their power, but they'll need that framework, otherwise you'll have somebody lost and lonely, and then they'll leave.
It's an interesting question because, what Phil was saying is it's a big step for a business because there's alternative uses of that capital, and it's going to take a while to get a return on that investment. So for me, it would be looking at the attitude, because it's very difficult, especially when you're trying to get one, to hire the right one. And so you want to look at somebody who's got the right type of attitude and the right type of discipline. So can they, have they demonstrated in their background that they faced adversity and overcame it, right? Have they demonstrated the fact that they can multitask? I look for qualities of athletes that play at a high level because they have the discipline, they spend a lot of hours by themselves trying to get better, and that's what it takes to be an excellent salesperson. I also look for people who perhaps have waited tables or were in some sort of customer service capacity, because you have to deal with multiple variables beyond your control. So they have those sorts of skill sets is what I would look for, and along with the attitude, and then give them a structure, give them a clarity of purpose, and the tools to succeed. And that's about as good as you're going to get.
I'm going to add 2 things, and it starts with one word: integrity. If that person does not demonstrate 100% integrity, you don't want that person in your organization. 2, you are only going to hire to the talent of what you display. A-level people will not go to work for B and C-level managers. Oh, by the way, B-level people won't hire A-level people because they're scared of them. A-level people are attracted to A-level people. Sometimes before you look at adding a salesperson, you got to up your game. You got to up your skill set in leadership. Sales is leadership. Leadership is sales.
You should be a little bit more passionate, you know. You don't really say it like you mean.
I'm a Yankee.
Next question. I'm coming right to you. Let's do this one and then we'll come to you. So, how has the online world and social media and all of this, the internet, how has it changed the way we sell over the last few years?
It reinforces the need for integrity, because you can't have one fake profile out on, hey, this is what we did on Saturday night, Friday night, and then turn around and, oh, no. Integrity. Social media, what am I saying? It uncovers people who lack integrity.
Social media is, it makes the job, it makes the job of the salesperson easier in some respects and a lot more difficult. Typically, the experienced sales rep, social media is just another way of communicating. Just like when the telephone came, just like when email came, and then experienced salespeople understood what that meant and how to use it. The challenge is with people just coming into the sales profession, and they've kind of grown up with social media and they think that's the way everybody communicates. But it's really hard to convince somebody of an outcome, over Facebook. So it's a challenge. It's just another tool, and in some cases it can be used for very, very good. In other cases, it can provide more fodder and confusion. So you have to be careful.
Let's try and get some quick, tangible things that you can maybe understand about how the world's changed with social media. Number one is it's given both customers and salespeople a lot more intelligence about people. That's a big deal. It's also made the world a lot smaller of a place. And it's also extended the business hours way past 9 till 5 for everyone. It's almost created a 24-hour cycle of the ability to be able to communicate. What that means is the lines are very firmly blurred between when you're working and when you're not. So if you're in the business of influence in any way, shape or form, you've just decided that you have a 24/7 job. And you have to be able to create the discipline to say, how do I work that? So there's plenty of good news that can come with, or piece of good news that can come with social media, but there's also a lot of bad news too. Is what you did on social media happened. Forever. Timestamps existed, and it's there for all to see. The reverse of which is you're in complete control of it. So you've got your very own tabloid and broadsheet. Make sure that you control that, you're aware of what people are saying about you, you understand what your reputation is, and you control the part you can control, because there's a lot that you can't, and look to use it as a tool to extend your working day, create rules around the things that you do, and reach out maybe into some other markets that you wouldn't have done otherwise without the blind door knock approach. But to say, hey, now what I could do is I can door knock with intelligence. And a tiny thing you might want to do with that is if you are in the process right now of seeing people and traveling to them for appointments, use tools like LinkedIn with geographic search attached to it to say,
not only develop a genuine understanding, but through those questions, and not just any kind of questions, through those questions, you want to help your customer, your prospect, develop a genuine understanding of what the real, true, underlying business problem is. And because oftentimes we're all selling something, oftentimes that people don't know exists, they don't know who we are, and they don't wake up in the morning saying, I need to buy one of these today, right? Yet they have the business issues and pains that our solution routinely and perhaps uniquely solves, whether they consciously acknowledge it or not. The way to get to, that genuine understanding is not just asking questions in an interrogation, but I guarantee you were asking questions, and not only were you learning, but you were helping the customer learn, the root cause of what those problems are, and then it's all about matching your solution to the outcome.
Let's do a couple of quick bits on this. We have to understand a couple of very basic facts. Salespeople have two things in abundance. One is bone idleness, and the second is a giant ego. Those two things actually sit as complete paradigms away from each other. So you start in a brand new job, and what's driving you is the ego. Got to do a good job, don't know what I don't know, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to do everything possible to be able to achieve. Boss says, good job. You like that feeling. Now you feel comfortable. Now the lazy little voice starts to chirp up, and all of a sudden autopilot kicks in. Fourth gear is the one that I'm comfortable in. And fine is fine. Then what happens is KPIs and benchmark comes out. Somebody tells you what a good job looks like. You see that benchmark in line and you think, aha, if I'm just above average, I'm doing all right. And if you're doing all right, you're not going to get fired, and you can probably do a fairly good job for about 60% of what you know you're capable of, and that seems to serve you up okay, and you're not going to get fired, you're good. And what I want you to think about, though, is see that description of your performance of being just above average. Is I'm going to ask you to imagine another area of your life. And say, for example, that you've just been out for a meal with a loved one, and the meal went particularly well. So well it resulted in them coming back to your place. Not just to your place, but a room in particular, to your bedroom, and following which was a night of wild, passionate lovemaking. And a question was asked, which was, how was it for you, dear? And the response comes as just above average. And then what I'd say to salespeople, if less than content there with that description of your performance, why so happy about it in the workplace? So you need the discipline to be able to get up every day and say, I'm going to do my best. Without that, you'll be also around, and you'll have a career, but you won't make it count.
We people who manage sales teams, we start in that very simple way, and I agree everything that the gentleman has said so far. And we start to confuse as people get to know more and more about our product range and everything else, we start to confuse the customers. We think we've got to tell them everything about everything we do. And there's too many options, too many ways of having it, completely confuses the customer. Because quite simply, a weak argument always dilutes a strong one. So stick to the big things that the customer are going to buy and you'll be laughing. Add too many things to try and prove the case, and your sales is going to start using over and over again.
Thanks, Rose. We've got time for one more question from the floor, and then I'm going to finish with a real quick one. You can be thinking of in advance, but it's what's the one tip you'd give to people to make more money through selling? So be thinking of that question. Seth, you're up last.
Thanks. I work for an organisation that's got ahead by telesales. Had a policy, always 50% of our workforce being telesales people, and it's fueled double-digit growth for 10 years. It's starting to slow up, and our sales directors have a sleepless nights when they hear sales trainers say things like the telephone is dead. As sales coaches, what is your professional opinion on the role of telesales in an organisation with fast ambitions for fast growth?
Telesales, I'm a complete believer in telesales, and it's just coming back now. I've got 8 assignments since Christmas, which I've never had before, just to teach people cold calling, teleselling, and everything else. I think people, social media is useful, but hanging around LinkedIn all day, hoping somebody's going to ring you, just not working. People becoming more proactive. So get involved with proper B2B cold calling, learn how to do it, and you'll start getting the business.
Here, telephone is cool. This is a little pocket ATM, and when I punch numbers in it and have conversations that follow, money comes out. So it's never going to die, but we do have to consider something remarkably important, is that there is a huge generation of people who do not know how to accept a phone call. So it doesn't matter that you're okay making it, quite often the person who's at the other end of it, particularly if you're selling to millennials, does not want to answer a phone call. Consider that point and understand that that's where part of that challenge might come from. So know what your target market is that you're running for, and say, okay, my telesales operation might run at the 25 pluses, but the 25 and below, we might have to find another way. In addition to test it and measure it, see the results you get, and then try and educate your customers that it's okay to use the phone too. That's the only thing to be scared of in my mind.
Okay, this is a particular question close to my heart. I actually have 45 telesales people on my team, so we teach this to people. We have our own team of folks, so we know a little bit about this. You know, in this, we look at this, and there's a binary, seems to be everybody looks at this as a binary decision process. Either I pick up the phone and I get a response or I don't. Or I reach out, through social media and I get a response or I don't. And then I should choose one or the other. We looked and studied this problem long ago, and we found out that there's this sort of magical invisible force that every organization does. Your team is reaching out to people. right? They likely don't know who the right person is to buy your solution. That person maybe doesn't know who you are. But there is somebody in that organization that you're reaching out to who knows the right person is. And there's this whole concept that we discovered. It's kind of like gravity. It's out there. You can't see it, but you know it exists. And we call it social DNA. Every organization has this concept called social DNA. It's their own formal and informal ways that they socialize information. It's their own letter acronyms. If anybody has started with a new company recently, you're learning, how to manage through that process. So the issue here is if we know who the target is, while the target might be a millennial or 25 or under, right? There are other people in that organization who are 25 and over. So they will respond and help you. They might want to get a voicemail. They might prefer to get an email. They may not prefer to get a LinkedIn message, right? But what they can do with that information is socialize it within the four walls of an organization on your behalf, and that will help you actually identify and get them more focused.
Outbound telephone is coming back into vogue. We've gone through this social media phase where it's all inbound, and now suddenly you realize you can't eat clicks, you can't eat likes. You got to pick up the phone and call. Sometimes people don't realize that the phone works. It's like the automobile. Gee, the car doesn't run. Well, have you tried to start it? Go out and start the car. It runs. Now you got to learn how to drive it, and that's the skill set, that's the training that we got to provide. But the telephone still works and works well. Just different strategies, different techniques, different approaches. I love it.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to ask them one last question. They'll stick around a little bit, but between them, these four guys have sold millions and millions of dollars of products and services over the last few years. So this is incredible stuff that you're getting right now. Here's the question. What one tip would you give these people out here to make more money, presumably by selling more stuff?
Well, I'm going to throw in two. Sales is leadership. Leadership is sales. You have the greatest privilege in the world to influence and impact every person you come in contact with. And when you do that, you are going to create a sale. And what you do is you earn the right, the privilege, honor, and respect to be able to meet with that person again. Final comment, don't settle for average. Average is the bane of greatness. I get tired of salespeople. Well, I don't care if you made your number. Blow it out of the water. Get excited about what you do.
There's a lot of tips I can share, but one is understand the difference between emerging demand and existing demand. Right? Emerging demand is existing demand are people who have already decided, hey, I'm going to buy something, they just don't know from who. And those are always going to be price competitive. Those are always going to be, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. To me, that's not sophisticated selling. You guys are better than that, right? Emerging demand is to understand exactly, what is it, the business problem that the customer is trying to solve? Be accountable to their outcomes, and then align your solution to those outcomes. And then the other thing I'll say is that book, The Joshua Principle, in my opinion, is one of the finest books on selling ever written.
Like Mark, I'm going to prove a point and say whenever you're given the option to do one thing, do more than that one thing. So I'm going to give two. And biggest reason that most salespeople fail is because they don't believe that more is possible. Shoot too low. And I want you all to think a huge amount bigger than what you're getting right now. If you think a good job is getting 10 grand out of that account, ask yourself how you can get 150 grand out of that account. And I got a great piece of advice from a mentor once. I said to him, I got a £10,000 problem in my business. I'm struggling to make payroll. I got to make 10 grand by Friday. I need a great idea to make 10 grand by Friday. He said, no, you don't. He said, you need a £100,000 idea executed badly. And that gave me a huge amount of confidence, right? I did what he said, and I came up with a 100 grand idea, executed it badly, and made 22 grand quick. It's good news. But the other thing that I'm going to say to you right now, if you want to get awesome at sales, is stop telling yourself you're good at it. I meet hundreds of people in my conferences that say, I'm really good at sales, me. And I say, what are you earning? And they say, I'm earning 22 grand a year. Now, if you're earning 22 grand a year, you're not great at sales. If you're earning 45 grand a year, you're not great at sales. If you're earning $500,000 a year, you're not great at sales. You've still got plenty to learn. This is a skills-based industry and never stop learning. Learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, refine it, master it. Know it inside out so you're 15 steps ahead of every one of your customers. Understand the questions that they're going to ask before they've even thought of them. Be 15 paces ahead and learn everywhere you go and fail fast. Real fast. People want perfect presentations, perfect outcomes, wonderful situations and know exactly what to do. Go mess it up brilliantly and learn everything it teaches you.
It is 80% easier to get more business from an existing happy client than to go out and find a new one. And yet most salespeople treat the last customer they sold to as the business equivalent of a one-night stand. And the biggest reason that the existing customers stop buying from you is they forget about you. It is your job to stay in touch with everybody just because it makes you so much more money. There's so few people do that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Would you give our terrific panelists a great cheer? Yes, I knew you could do it. I knew you could do so much more than you were doing. Guys, that's the official end of our day. We thank you for staying this long. Connect with these guys if you want to have a little conversation with them now, because we've padlocked them to the chairs. They can't get out for a little while. And listen, go out there and be brilliant. Go out there and have a fantastic life, make a difference. We thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Yeah.